If you're over 35 and thinking about starting Muay Thai, you don't need a suitcase full of gear. You just need the right gear. I see it all the time. Someone gets very excited about Muay Thai, they go online, and suddenly they've got 3 pairs of gloves, 2 pairs of shin guards, and gear that they'll just, quite frankly, never use. And if you're trying to stay fit, learn your skill, keep your body healthy, you don't need a whole ass gym's worth of equipment. You just need gear that's safe, comfortable, and built to last. So today, I'll break down what you actually need and what's nice to have and what you can just skip entirely.
Episode of the Pu'u Muay Thai podcast is brought to you by pmtlifestyle.com. Authentic Muay Thai lifestyle by Pu'u. Definitely go check out the website at pmtlifestyle.com for some awesome lifestyle merchandise. That's for those of you out there either involved in Muay Thai, looking at getting involved in Muay Thai, and embrace a healthier lifestyle to live the life of the Nok Muay. Go check it out.
I want to talk about Black Room at Deep Studios. If you enjoy the content of this podcast, you will definitely enjoy the value that you get out of the Black Room and being a member of the Black Room. What it is it's a subscriber-based way to support the podcast. If you enjoy the podcast and want it to continue, I'm asking for your help. And in exchange, you're going to get an underground view of Muay Thai, American Muay Thai, as well as within Thailand. We have people who are now working on the ground in Thailand that are helping us get media, content, all that stuff. We're posting it there on Black Room, as well as behind the scenes footage of the podcast recordings when we're recording. After I stop recording for stuff that we broadcast, we put some subscriber based only content on there. So you're going to really get a lot of value out of that subscription. Okay. It's not just supporting the podcast. We also have podcast subscriber only merchandise that's coming out as well here in 2024. So you have to be a part of the Black Room in order to get access to that. So I'm asking you for your help on that, but I know that it's not so much of you helping me. It's going to be us giving you a ton of value that you're going to get and just enjoy it. And it's only $5 a month. All right. You can cancel it anytime. Every little bit counts. Please go join it. The link is down in the show notes. All right. Anyways, sit back and enjoy the show. So what do you cop? My name is Jonathan Pu'u, the founder of Pu'u Muay Thai and the host here on the Pu'u Muay Thai podcast. At our academy at Pu'u Muay Thai, we have tons of adults who start training in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and even 70s. All right. These are working professionals, blue-collar people, parents, business owners, teachers, delivery drivers, people who don't want to get hurt. They rely on their body for money. They need to keep their health, right? But they want to challenge themselves. And here's what I've learned through that. The right gear will keep you consistent in training and working towards your goal. When your hands, your shins, your joints, your body, your neck, when they feel protected, you're going to train longer because when you feel good, believe me, you do much better, right? And you'll also recover better and enjoy the whole process. So let's start with the basics, the gear that you actually need. So coming up number 1 is gloves. Get a solid pair of 12-ounce or 14-ounce training gloves with real padding and wrist support. I know a lot of people will say, hey, get 16-ounce. But honestly, what you're trying to do is balance between being able to feel your hand inside the glove and the contact and protection. So that's why having that good wrist support and good knuckle pad on those gloves will be important. Also, just skip the $30 fitness gloves, those never last gloves that you see from the big box stores. You want brands that are made for Muay Thai, such as Fairtex, Twins, Talk King, Windy, Sandy, and Ghost Brand, of course. When people first start at Pu'u Muay Thai, we give them a beginner pair of gloves. All right, so these are just gloves to get started, but we always encourage students that as they progress, we recommend that they invest in gloves such as the ones that I recommended, right? Number 2 will be hand wraps. These are your first line of defense that you have on your hands because when you actually punch, the bones in your hands expand. I've talked about it here ad nauseum. So it's very important that you have something that is 165 inches to 190 inches long, semi-elastic, And make sure you wash them after every use. All right, this is very important. Don't be a stinky person in the gym, okay? Think of them like, seat belts for your wrists and your knuckles. All right, to make things easier, grab a simple washing machine bag, those mesh bags that you can throw in the washer, to save you from having a tangled mess of hand wraps. If you know, you know. Number 3 is going to be shin guards. You'll want a proper pair of Muay Thai style shin guards, not MMA slide on, slip on shin guards or grappling shin guards. Look for ones with full shin coverage and an instep protector that have an underfoot and behind the heel strap and solid straps that wrap around the back of your calf that help prevent the shin guard from spinning around when you are training and making contact. So that way they don't spin around. You're always adjusting them when you kick. Again, that will be brands like Twins, Talk King, Fairtex, Sandy, or Ghost Brand. It's an investment in protecting not only your training partners, but your body as well. So don't go cheap on that. Next up is going to be mouth guard. All right. So even this is actually number 4 is going to be mouth guard. So even if you're just drilling, protect your jaw and your teeth. It's very important. You only get one smile, right? Having a fake tooth, it's not fun. Believe me, I know. All right. A fitted one from your dentist is ideal. All right. But a good boil and bite works just fine too. I went for years with a boil and bite. Fought my first pro fight with a boil and bite. Most people fight in boil bites. All right. There are great services that allow a form-fitted mouth guard now, though. And I personally recommend Impact mouth guards. All right. I'll put the link down in the show notes for Impact mouth guards. They give you a whole molding kit to do at home, and they provide the shipping label, and you get a perfectly formed mouthpiece. All right. It's very simple. They send it to you in the mail. If it doesn't fit for whatever reason, you have issues, let them know. They'll give you a label to ship it back. They'll make any adjustments and stuff too. And what's good is when you need more mouthpieces, they have your mold already. So you can just order them. So if you want a different design, different style, it's really one of those things that I wish I had when coming up through Muay Thai. I wish that we had brands like Impact. And once we did have brands like Impact, I wish I would have just paid the 55, 60 bucks or whatever it was to get it, because I did have a mouthpiece from a dentist and it wasn't good. All right. So Impact mouth guards, go check it out. Just so you guys know, full disclosure, I do get commission when you click on that link. All right. They're the only ones that are licensed to have Eat, Sleep, Teep on their mouth guards. So next up is going to be, it's actually number 5, is our shorts. Go with traditional Muay Thai shorts. Lightweight, breathable, and they're built for movement. They have space, for, usually slits up at the side for your legs to move around, and they'll give you full hip mobility, and they feel just right once you start training. If you want to know my thoughts on Muay Thai shorts and why it's important to wear them when you train Muay Thai, go listen or watch my episode on Muay Thai shorts. It's a very important thing. All right. Sore spot for me and from Muay Thai. All right. So number 6 is going to be your growing guard. All right. This is more geared towards men for obvious reasons, right? There's lots of gimmicky growing guards that are on the market. I see them all the time that claim to be the best. All right. But you need to know what doesn't need to market itself is that it's one that's actually stood the test of time. And this one, it works, right? So it's very important. It stood the test of time. It's just the traditional Thai steel cup. I didn't know about Thai steel cup when I first started. I actually found out about it. I don't know if I told the story on the podcast. The first time I went to Thailand, when I went to fight, they said, you can't wear that. You can't wear that cup. It was like a McDonald's cup, plastic cup. We call it a McDonald's cup. And they said, you actually can't fight in that. You need to use steel cup. So I had to use a gross ass loaner steel cup. Save yourself from that. I know you're not fighting, but I'll say this. I've officiated a couple thousand Muay Thai fights, and I'll tell you, I've seen all the cups that are out there in action, being tested. And without a doubt, the Thai steel cup is the best overall growing protector in my professional opinion. Even if you're not sparring, if you're just training, hitting pads, it's easy for strikes to slip up and cup check you. So protect yourself, protect your legacy. All right. Get the steel cup. So these are your foundational pieces of equipment that you're going to want when you start. With just these items, you can train safely, comfortably, and you look like, you belong in the Muay Thai gym. I know a lot of people that might be watching this, you just want to fit in, right? So with those, you'll feel like you fit right in. So now let's talk about the things that make training more comfortable, but aren't required. These are more like nice to haves, okay? So first up is going to be ankle supports, which are good to have in your bag. You don't need to wear them all the time. Your lower limb muscles will fatigue. They're going to get fatigued. All the small muscles in your ankles, in your feet. And it's good to have for when your legs are tired to have the extra support around like your ankle and your foot, help prevent, any injuries, foot rolls, ankle rolls, things like that. All right. Next up will be a good gym bag with ventilation. And trust me, you don't want your gloves living in a hot car. Don't be the stinky guy. All right. You also don't need a bag to fit everything at once. I see some people coming in to the academy and training throughout the years for what looks like a whole ass camping kit on their back. Like they're going backpacking on like a 30-mile hike and going to be camping up at the top with all their food and their stove and whatnot. It just takes up way too much space, and quite frankly, it's overkill. Your gear bag's never going to fit in like cubbies at the gym that you're at. You're not going to have a place to hang it, whatever it may be. So just get a smaller bag that has mesh to ventilate and is easy to remove all your gear from it. Something that's going to fit all those essentials I talked about. All right. Next is going to be Thai boxing liniment for warm up and recovery. It's part of the culture for Muay Thai to use this liniment. It helps with muscle soreness. You'll also hear it called by its Thai name brand, which is Namin Muay. It's in like a little yellow bottle. It's a clear bottle with yellow liquid, yellow label, has a gray cap on top of it. This is also good for helping bumps and bruises heal up outside of training. I used to be a skeptic. I know my Thai instructor's like, hey, put this on, wrap up in an ace bandage at night, and you'll probably feel much better in the morning. Believe it or not, it works. All right. At least in my experience. Again, I'm skeptical as well. It also does some amazing things for sore muscles when you're trying to warm up, like when you're stiff and creaky. So if you're like in that, above 35 crowd, you're going to bathe in this stuff. Okay. So another piece of equipment, get a foam roller for recovery. All right. You'll be putting a lot of load on your posterior chain. That's like the area from like your feet, calves, hamstrings, your glutes, that whole muscle chain. It's something that you're going to have a lot of movements in Muay Thai that generate power through those muscles. All right. And they're all just going to take a beating. So you want to make sure you can work on preventing them from getting too stiff between training. That way you can allow proper blood flow, oxygen to get through there, help repair all those muscles and tendons, and get ready for the next training session. And if you've got a little extra budget, these are a great investment overall that just make the journey smoother for you. All right. But again, they're not necessary. So now what you don't need the most expensive gear. Believe it or not. All right. You don't need 5 pairs of gloves. I see it. I'm not even joking. I've seen people, they start and they might balk at like their, tuition for training. And then they go out and buy 5 pairs of gloves. Right. And they're not cheap. You don't need to match what the pros wear on TV. You definitely don't need a $300 pair of custom gloves. Like you get the winning custom gloves that are custom embroidered, and you won't even be sparring yet. So you don't need them when you first start. That's why I recommend the 12 or 14-ounce gloves too. And if you're spending more on your gear than your gym membership, like I was talking about, you might want to reassess your priorities on your training. All right. Maybe take some of that money and invest it into private lessons. After all, private lessons are an investment in yourself rather than the brands that you're buying from. All right. So invest in yourself and it's going to pay back tenfold. And keep it simple. Focus on the essentials. All right. Good gear doesn't have to be flashy. It just has to work. I see all too often people dumping those another $300 into Hayabusa gear when they first start. Hayabusa, stay away from it. If you want more thoughts on that from me, go check out my video and episode on shin guards. It's titled "These Shin Guards Aren't Meant for Sparring," but that money is better spent on your skill development. All right, I get it. These companies spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to market to you to buy their equipment when you first start. All right, so don't fall for it. If you're over 35, your goal, and you're watching this video, your goal should be longevity and performance and not punishment, okay? You're not trying to fight at Rochester State. Maybe you are. It's okay. But for the most part, you're probably not. You're trying to stay strong, mobile, and consistent, right? Maybe later on, if you're able to get in the ring and do it. Some people, like, they do make that jump. in their mid-30s, but they're not trying to become the next world champion. Okay. So that means investing in comfort and protection. You want gear that fits well, supports your joints, protects your body, doesn't move around as much, it makes you feel comfortable, it makes you want to come back to training tomorrow. You're going to want to warm up a little bit longer, stretch after class, hydrate, take care of your body so that it can take care of you, right? Also, going into my late 30s, believe me, I feel it much more than when I first started at 18 years old. All right. I feel it. And if you're listening to this in your 40s and 50s, yeah, I believe me. I know. I don't need to hear from you. I know it's going to get better, right? So a final tip for me would be to invest in a good electrolyte solution. I've been suffering from cramps when I first started due to I sweat a lot. All right. And if you sweat a lot, you're going to want to have a good electrolyte solution as well, especially if you're going to Thailand. I personally use electrolyte solution called Element or LMNT, but there are other brands out there as well. I'm also keen on Salt Stick. They're chewable electrolyte tablets that you can take on heavy train days during training with little sips of water. That's one of those common things I see happen is when you're going to take electrolyte, you have to drink all that water with the electrolyte solution in it, which you can't really do when you're pumping out kicks on the pads and rounds and sparring. Right? You feel like you're going to throw up, or you feel like you're just going to have like a belly sloshing full of water and electrolytes. So that's where a Salt Stick has come into play for me. Picked that one up from people in the running community. All right. Because when you train smart, you get the whole benefits of Muay Thai too. So think about it. You're going to get confidence, strength, and stress relief. That's what you're looking for, right? So with all these tips that I just gave you, you're going to be able to train without feeling wrecked for just 3 days afterwards. And you're going to be able to have a better chance to get through, show up, and be consistent. Okay. So here's the recap. Here's your needs: gloves, hand wraps, shin guards, mouth guard, groin guard if you're a man, and Muay Thai shorts. And then here are some nice to haves. All right. Ankle supports, recovery tools like a foam roller, and a good gear bag. All right. Don't needs: the most expensive equipment, the Hayabusa, or the hike gear that just sits in your closet. You don't need it. All right. If you're over 35 and training Muay Thai, focus on gear that keeps you safe, train that keeps you consistent, and recovery that keeps you coming back. Invest more in your training. All right. Like I said, private lessons will never do you wrong, especially if you're just starting out. All right. But that's going to be it for today's episode. If you're training Muay Thai over 30, I'd love to know what's one piece of gear you can't train without. Also, if you're not over 35, let me know what's one piece of gear you can't train without. Drop it in the comments below or on the podcast website if you're listening to this podcast.pu'umuaythai.com. It'll be in the show notes and in the description. Be sure to subscribe to the Pu'u Muay Thai channel for more tips, insights, and conversations about training gear and culture. I'll see you in the next episode. All right, that's going to be it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in today to the Pu'u Muay Thai podcast. If you enjoy the content, go leave a review over on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Give us a rating. It means the world to us. Also, if you want to be a guest on the Pu'u Muay Thai podcast, or if you just want to shout out to your friend, go check us out at podcast.pu'umuaythai.com. You can submit to be able to be a guest on the podcast. You can submit what you want to talk about. Also, if you want to just give a shout out, there's a button for that too. Sawadee Kop.